regular board meeting of the Pullman School District for Wednesday, October 22nd. We'll note that Amanda Tanner is excused. She let us know that she had some other obligations tonight conflicting, so we excuse her from that. And we'll move on to the flag salute. Lisa, will you lead us tonight?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Read our land acknowledgement statement. Pullman Public Schools reside on the homelands of the Nimiipuu Nez Perce people. We express our deepest respect for and gratitude towards the original and current stewards of this land. We acknowledge our role in building mutual respect and connections to support current and future generations. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda from board directors. Are there any changes to the agenda tonight? Dr. Maxwell?
We do have one addition that was added to the consent agenda, the contract report addendum, and you should have seen, received an email to that effect.
Yep.
So, but if you have not seen that yet, so that was the only change.
All right. Thank you.
I move that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we'll move on to reports, correspondences, and program. So we'll start first with the PHS ASB report. And Connor, yes, welcome back.
Yeah, it's been a while. My name is Connor Scholes, and I'm here for Pullman High School ASB. Since David presented 2 weeks ago, we have had a lot of stuff happen. Starting with homecoming, obviously. Well, it's not an ASB event. For every single dance, I guess Tolo and homecoming, we have a hall decorating where the Sunday before, so on the 13th of October for homecoming, we have people come and decorate the halls to a theme that their class chooses. So I think the juniors were Tokyo for our dance this time. And that was the week before homecoming, just to get people in the spirit for the spirit week ahead. Next, yesterday we met with Moscow High's ASB to start planning things out for our Clash of the Combine event. Once again, we'll be donating to Alternatives to Violence on the Palouse, and that money will come from a coin drive that we have throughout the week leading up to it. The actual basketball games will be on December 12th, with the girls playing at 5:30 and the boys playing at 7. At the halftimes of each game, students from each school will compete in spirit activities like a lip sync or assembly games. And that's just to get more spirit and more involvement to those games to a rivalry game. Along with that, we're also looking for local sponsors to donate towards our spirit packs, which last year consisted of a t-shirt, sunglasses, pom-pom, and some stickers to make our student section unified and look the same, have a consistent color scheme, because the theme for the game is blue versus red. So to get the entire school in the same color. Next, today was Unity Day, obviously. And at lunch, our equity committee hosted bingo to push that not push that on to people, but to get people to go along with that. And it was great. It was really fun. And then finally, on next Thursday, October 30th, we'll be having our second trunk or treat, where our club set up in the back of a car in the back parking lot and pass out candy to children around the community and also high schoolers, and then advertise their clubs and what their clubs do for the school. That's at 4:30. I think that's everything. Awesome.
All right.
Any questions?
Awesome.
Yeah.
No questions.
Nope.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Thank you, Connor.
Have a good evening.
All right, we'll now move on to board reports. Nathan, do you have?
No report this evening.
No report.
No report.
All right, I just wanted to give a quick report on our community listening session. Of course, I know all of us were here, but just for those listening, just a quick update. So we had our third listening session last week on the 15th at Lincoln Middle School, and it was focused on really looking at communication and engagement both with families and the community. So we had two different kind of focus groups, one with the middle and high schools and one with elementary schools, and as board members we divided up between those to listen. We had different members of the community show up to engage with that, and just kind of brief highlights on those. Kind of in the middle and high school, there was a lot of discussion around the district's special education programs and working towards helping those students and how we can connect with the community and engage the community to support that. And interestingly, this week we were informed that the WSU ROAR program, who helps students at the university level engage, they received a $2.5 million grant from the U.S. Department of Education's Transition and Post-Secondary Programs for Students with Intellectual Disabilities Initiative. So that's going to be a good support for our students and our community, and I think it just kind of was interesting that it fit in because we had heard that from some of our constituents who were at that meeting. Something that we have to keep discussing, and we had a work session afterwards where we discussed kind of what we are currently doing around that and some ideas that we'll be continuing to discuss to move that forward. And then some of the discussions kind of in our elementary school was focused more on kind of community and family engagement. Again, we hosted the Community Connections event on October 22nd. But a lot of discussion was around how we can continue to use the diversity and expertise and knowledge that our community has to engage students, whether that's experts coming in and talking to the students or giving guest lectures, or whether that's the different professional societies we have around engaging with students and helping them think about careers and professional development. So again, we kind of brainstormed in our work session afterwards some ways to continue that and work to engage the community more on that. So just a brief update. We're very thankful for those who attended, and look forward to following up on some of these points as we go forward in the next couple months to follow up on that listening session. So again, thank you for all those who showed up. We appreciate it, and we'll be looking to have another listening session in the spring to continue this. So that is all I have. We'll move on to the superintendent report.
Thank you very much. Well, as Connor mentioned, today was Unity Day, and hence why I'm wearing blaze orange, because it's the only orange thing I had in my closet today, but served me well. Some people thought I was working construction today, and I was easy to spot in the schools, as I was told. So, but a great event across the district. A lot of orange worn by students, staff, community members. A lot of activities at each school, as Connor mentioned, here at the high school. So a nice event to really focus on kindness, belonging, being unified together. And so it's a fun day to celebrate, and so great things happening. I'm sure we'll have many pictures that'll be coming out on social media within the next few days. Also just want to mention, last week was homecoming, and with that, of course, we had our football game. Hounds played really well, went into overtime. Unfortunately lost in overtime by 1 point. So, but they played very well, very hard, and they have a lot to be proud of. The dance was in Saturday night. I had an opportunity to chaperone at the homecoming dance. Probably about 500 tickets were sold roughly. So I can attest to that because I was in the line helping kids get in, and it was a long line, and they did very, very well and enjoyed themselves. I also want to point out we had a lot of staff that volunteered to chaperone, as well as recruiters from the Army and Marine Corps were also there, which I think is the first time I can remember, but they say today, we'd love to be happy to volunteer in other capacities, and so they reached out to them and they accepted, and they both did a great job. So it was nice having them helping to supervise and enjoy the evening with our students. So, and a lot of things, a lot of fall sports going on, a lot of great things happening. Disney and Desserts happened, more things coming up this following week. So that's about it.
All right, great, thank you. Move on to program reports, and we have a report from Ryan on the curriculum adoption update, cycle, and development.
All right, how have you been? Courtney was playing games with me, but didn't know if she was going to have my presentation or not, so glad to see she does. So it's my understanding that once or maybe twice a year, previously Roberta would give you an update on curriculum adoption and just where we're at. And so being my first time in the district doing this, I thought I'd better learn a little bit too and see what's been done here in the past and how we can keep the same process going forward. So on to the next one here. Just as a reminder, you've probably seen this before, but there is a process. So it's a 5-phase process. So it starts with research and goal setting around the curriculum and what the needs are. Then they go to phase 2, which is the curriculum mapping and gap analysis. So again, looking through OSPI, looking at what the essential standards are listed, and then we move into phase 3, which is then a review of the instructional materials. So usually there'll be a couple different publishers that provide materials to go through and for us to go through the process of looking through those, making sure they meet our goals, and then making sure that they meet and hit those essential standards. And then there's going to be a review and selection process that happens through there, which is much more involved. Phase 4, which is the big one for me, is the implementation and professional development. So making sure that teachers have what they need to be able to implement this with fidelity. And then phase 5, which sometimes gets forgotten in my past experience, is the maintenance of the curriculum and the maintenance of the materials, and just reviewing them continuously to make sure that we're still current and that we're still hitting what OSPI says we should be hitting. So that's the process. The next piece here, one of the things, again, that you've heard us say this year is it's all about consistency across the district. I'm a firm believer in whatever address the child happens to live at should not determine the education that they receive. So we want consistency from all of our elementaries, just like we want in the middle and the high school. So that's part of this process as we're going through it. So, and then this just walks through what the materials and what the approval looks like. So we have the Curriculum Advisory Committee, which is getting tuned up here for our first meeting in early November, which is made up of elementary teachers, middle school teachers, high school teachers, principals, community members, and a board member. I think Amanda currently sits on that committee. So core materials, these are our core content materials that goes through the CAC and then board approval. Intervention materials, so these are the additional supports for students who need that. We'll go through the assistant superintendent here traditionally. Supplemental materials, these are things that are in addition, that don't supplant or don't remove additional core curriculum. It's to help additional materials there. That goes through the principals and the Curriculum Advisory Committee. Temporary supplemental, that just might be something that might be needed for a unit, but not consistently over time. That was done at the teaching staff level, and then the same thing with library resources. Recent adoption. So in the recent years, here's what the district has adopted and approved since this is about 2022, I believe. So we have the illustrated mathematics was the most recent one, and that was in grades 6 through 8. Then we had the Bridges Math in K5 and Collaborative Literacy in K5. And I can say that those are being used with fidelity across the district right now, and teachers have had enough time where they're really diving into them now and actually even doing some modifications, which is great. And then another recent one is the second step social emotional learning curriculum, and that is at a K-12 level. So those are the recent ones that we've done. And finally, if budgetary issues get better in the future, this is where we're identifying our current needs. So looking at our 6 through 12 ELA as well as math. We have done some work recently in algebra and geometry, but nothing beyond that at this point. K-5 social studies is one that hasn't been touched for a while, and so that's probably going to land high on our radar or needs. And then new courses. So oftentimes at middle school or high school, new courses will be proposed by teachers. A lot of times it's based on interest, and so if that does happen, then we'll go through the curriculum adoption cycle with that. Sometimes it's a little bit different because if a teacher's doing like a college and the high school class or a AP course, sometimes those texts are already, and that curriculum is already pre-approved by the college board, and so there's less options and choices. You're going to use like this text or that text, basically. And then emerging need. One thing that we've heard from the high school is their ELA department does have a desire to adopt some new novels that are more reflective of current society and the current makeup of their school and their students to represent the people in the school better. So I know that they will be bringing to the Curriculum Advisory Committee a list of novels that they would like for us to go through and go through the process and hopefully approve at some point. So that is where we're at right now. Quick review of how we do it and what we do and where we're at. Any questions? Oh, yeah, Craig.
Well, I'm just surprised not to see science in there, K-5 science.
K-5 science. Well,
We've been playing with mystery science for a number of years now, which is not really a great,
it's not a great
I
one.
mean, it's not even purported to be a full curriculum.
Okay, I'm going to add it to the list of the needs to take a look at that one.
Thanks.
You bet. Thank you for bringing it forward.
It is really widely used, though. I
Mhm.
I looked it up earlier this year.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll now move on to a community of belonging update. I don't know, who's our current rep with the DE?
Would be Amanda.
Amanda.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay. So Amanda's not here, did you have any?
Amazing. Just I know that the DEIB committee's been doing some really good work and reaching out. I know there's a desire to continue the community get-togethers at a different location. Unity Day, I already spoke to that, but that was this week and this month, and we'll continue that tradition. I think that'll continue to grow in the future, and so excited for that, but that's what I have for tonight.
Okay, the only thing that I had is just, probably on November 12th, at our next board meeting, we'll have a discussion item just to review the task force, the tasks that we've given them, and then have a discussion if there's other tasks we would like to assign. There were some thoughts in our work session about there might be some more things from that work session that we could task the DEIB task force on. So just to let you all know and be thinking about that, but I'll probably have that as a discussion item for November 12th, and I'll talk with Amanda about that as well, so she can come prepared for that discussion also. All right, thank you. So we'll now move on to public comment. The public comment section of the agenda provides an opportunity for individuals or members of a group to address the board on educational issues. If you intend to provide public comment this evening, you may register to speak using the sign-in sheet located near the board entrance. And it looks like we do not have anybody signed up today, so we will continue on to the consent agenda. To expedite business at a board meeting, the board approves the use of a consent agenda, which includes items considered to be routine in nature. Any item which appears on the consent agenda may be removed from the consent agenda by a member of the board and voted on separately. The remaining items will be voted on by a single motion. Is there any item that anyone would like to remove from the consent agenda?
Nope.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Are there any discussions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda are action items. So action items have previously been discussed by the board, and the board will now take action by motion. And so Our first action item is Resolution 252604, Declaration of Surplus Property. And Justin will present that to us.
Good evening, everyone. As we discussed last time, we're having our yearly surplus sale. And we discussed, we open that to public and private schools first, and then opens up to community is our process. We'll have that run in the paper a couple times in the legal section, and then we will have that hopefully in November. We'll get this taken care of. And didn't get any questions last time, but I'm happy to answer any if there are any tonight.
Any additional? All right.
I move that we approve resolution 252604, declaration of surplus property.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve Resolution 252604, Declaration of Surplus Property. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to discussion items. Discussion items are presented to the board for discussion, and if needed, they will be brought back at the next meeting for action. We will first start with, I assume this is a policy 3425, accommodating students with adrenal insufficiency. Bob will present that.
Yeah, thank you very much, appreciate it. So this is a new policy. So this is 3425, accommodating students with adrenal insufficiency. This is listed as critical, which means it's required. And this comes out as Substitute House Bill 1709, addressing the care of students with adrenal insufficiency by parent-designated adults, and the requirements outlined in RCW 28A 210358, which differs in some ways from the laws of students with disabilities or seizure disorders or epilepsy, but it's also similar. We do have parent-designated adults for students with diabetes, for example. So the training requirements are probably the biggest difference here. So I also like to note that this was reviewed by Michelle Hyatt, our lead nurse, and she reported no concerns or any changes to the said policy or procedure that accompanies this. Not a medical expert, but I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you may have. If not, I can refer them to Michelle. But it's pretty straightforward. It's very similar to what we do with some other diabetes, especially, and seizure disorders as well.
All right, are there any questions or discussion on the policy? All right, we'll move on to our next discussion item, Policy 5000, Recruitment, Selection, and Evaluation of Staff.
Thank you very much. So this was in Board Policy 5000 recruitment. Hasn't really been touched in quite a while, and so this came out in the October Policy and Legal News, which I'm sure you've may have had time to take a look at. Basically, this has been aligned per WASDA's policy recommendations, and in summary, it's really has condensed this policy quite a bit. If you've had a chance to look at it, just has condensed it, clarified a few things, taken out some, I would say, extra language that talks about us working with teacher preparation programs and such, and that has all been removed. Those are things we still currently do, but it's not necessarily a policy requirement. So overall, I think it's very minor changes to this particular policy. Again, it really condenses it down to just a few strong points.
All right, thank you. Is there any questions?
Thanks, Bob.
Or discussion?
Yeah, Lisa?
Is there any concern with this, just with any of the language and the contracts we have with employees?
Does any of this apply to that?
Either the represented employees or the just individual contracts, are we gonna have to revisit anything there?
Not per this policy, no.
All right. I think we're good. All right, thank you, Bob.
Great question, though. Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to informational items. Informational items do not require action or discussion by the board. These items are included in the agenda for the board to review. and may be moved to the discussion items section of the board agenda by any member. Informational items may include board procedure updates or non-substantive policy updates. Are there any items that anyone would like to move to a discussion item tonight? All right, thank you. We will now move to an executive or closed session. We will recess into a executive session starting at 7 o'clock for 25 minutes. And no action will be taken during the executive session. And following the executive session, we will reconvene the regular meeting and adjourn. So, thank you all tonight.